At a very young age, I had seen a quote which said, efforts never fail. Logic sometimes tells you, okay, stop.
I want to solve my customers' problems. How do I go about looking for that purpose?
People need to understand as to there is a bigger requirement. The purpose statement has to inspire them. Innovation happens with purpose. If you are able to define why you're doing what you're doing, that's the start point.
How do you keep people empowered and encouraged to execute?
Understanding is very important. Are you looking at building leaders, or you want to be in charge always?
Before even you sell your idea to your client, how did you sell it to yourself?
When I started, it was necessity.
We all start like that, right?
I was positioned in that place where nothing else mattered. You had to go out into the market to make sure that you earn your living. Otherwise, you didn't have a meal on your plate. Don't look at the big problem as it is. Do the small things right. Focusing on the most important aspect of what needs to be done. If people start looking at what is in it for me, then the purpose is not looked at.
Every great company begins with someone who can see tomorrow before anyone else does. Someone whose vision turns imagination into an impact. And that's what today's conversation is about. The power of vision, selling tomorrow before it exists. My guest today is Sanjay Raghunath, the founder and chairman of Centena Group, a leader who transformed a humble start into a globally respected enterprise across marine automation, education, and life sciences. Sanjay's story isn't just about building company, it's about building conviction, culture, and an unshakable belief in what's possible. And there's so much that every sales leader, or entrepreneur, and professional who's trying to sell ideas, inspire teams, and turn ideas into outcomes. Before we dive in, and a quick request, I'm so grateful to everyone who's actually looking and sharing information on the channel, but very few are subscribing it. So I would request you all to subscribe so that we can bring more information on your way. I'm Jayachaandran, the founder and CEO of Transtify, a sales performance improvement organization, and my mission through Sales Igniter is to explore how sales leadership and human mind come together to shape extraordinary results. So let's dive straight into the conversation with Sanjay. And Sanjay, welcome to the podcast. I'm so grateful to having you here. Let's dive straight into the heart of it, right? There are a lot of people who think about innovation, who believes that innovation is the way to go, but very few see it coming, right? How to actually connect with those innovation. According to you, how do you actually connect with something you are not actually able to show people, or you are actually not able to see it completely? How do you connect with that? What's the vision?
Thank you for having me here, Leena. It's a pleasure to be with you on this podcast, and I hope I can share whatever little experience I have gained over my 40 plus years of my career in this journey here. So to answer your question, for me, I think innovation happens with purpose.
Okay.
If you are able to define your purpose as to why you're doing what you're doing,
right,
that's the start point. Because that allows you to even listen to your customer in a far more greater manner with intent,
right,
to understand what is going to happen.
Right.
So there is no rocket science to this.
Okay.
So and it is not a top-down approach.
Okay.
Innovation is a bottom-up approach, because we at the top are not listening to the customer. It is the front-end sales guy who is actually listening to the customer.
Right.
So it's how we build a culture of bringing that information of listening with intent and understanding pain points of the customer back into our drawing board, which will help us innovate.
So would you say purpose and intent has to go together?
Purpose and listening with intent.
Listening with intent. That's such an important aspect, right? A lot of people just listen, but what is the intention behind that is such an important aspect. Okay,
because listening and thinking for me are two exclusive aspects of it.
Okay. I would love to know what's the difference in that.
Because if I'm thinking while I'm listening, then I'm not listening to you.
Right.
Because I'm processing what Leena is going to ask the next question.
Right. Yeah.
Then it's impossible for me to actually listen to you.
Right. Okay. So the intent is lost there because it's more about hearing.
I have to listen without. I should leave my prejudice behind. I should leave my guard behind and listen with an intent of understanding what is being spoken.
Right.
It is, most of the time, it's not in the words. There's a lot of emotion attached to that. There are a lot of unspoken words which go through,
Right.
which if you're not listening with intent, you will not catch.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that makes the difference, because if you're able to understand that emotion and the intent behind what is being spoken, you will be a lot more understanding of the pain areas of what the customer is going through.
Okay.
And I think sales is nothing but solving pain areas of customers.
Of a customer. And so would that lead, I mean, I'm curious to know that, since you brought up a very important aspect of purpose and intent, right? Is this something every individual can develop, or is it in them? How does somebody look for a purpose and define what is my purpose when I'm with my customer? And you said, I want to solve my customer's problems, right? But how do I go about looking for that purpose? Is it instinctive? Is it developed? Is it a skill that can be developed?
I think that's something we need to really understand life for what it is. And that's when you come to understanding purpose.
Okay.
So I don't think, probably a coach or a mentor could help you through this process.
Okay.
Otherwise, you have to learn
By
through
yourself.
life's experience as
Okay.
to why we are here.
Right.
The
Right.
question mark of why we are on this earth is where your real purpose starts from.
Yeah.
So if you understand that why we are here, and the reason is to look at not what is in it for me. If people start looking at what is in it for me, then the purpose is not looked at.
So it's a broader purpose what we need to look at.
Yeah, because I believe if we can focus on what is in it for me, then we should be able to take all what I've achieved in my life along with me when I go.
But this is not possible, right? Which doesn't happen to anyone.
I don't think that happens.
Yeah, right.
So then what is the real purpose?
Right.
So there is a reason why I've been brought to this world.
Correct.
What is that purpose?
Yeah.
So that's where the larger picture comes in. So how can we contribute towards the greater good?
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you understand that, then that if you are able to bring through in the culture, people need to understand as to there is a bigger requirement. And the purpose statement has to inspire them.
Right.
Once purpose inspires them, then things become easier.
Yeah.
Because it cannot be related to money.
Money is an outcome.
Yeah. Money, profit is important for every organization.
Of course.
I think profits are how efficiently you run the organization.
True.
But
Yeah, that's
if
a good
you
point.
look at profit as the only media of running the business, then you lose the purpose.
Yeah. So profit is an outcome of how your purpose and intent is built into it, and that is it's like the health of your system, right?
The efficiency portion actually defines profit. So
Right.
are you running your organization efficiently or not is the answer with if your profitability is going up or down.
Got it.
But the purpose of the organization cannot be run with the profit in mind.
Okay.
That should be the least important thing when you actually look for the purpose, because
Right.
it's much beyond money if you're looking at the real purpose. So if you're defining a purpose, for me is it has to be inspirational. It has to be for the larger good. It cannot be for money.
Right. And I think that is why my definition of sales is like, sales is a noble profession. And I think it really ties in with the purpose, because your intent is to help someone make those decisions which can impact their lives and multiple lives there, because any change is being impacted to whether it's a client or, so sales as a function is, I think a lot of people look at it as, sell numbers, profit, revenue, and so that's why people get so stressed about it. When I say people, I talk about salespeople. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, why don't you evaluate sales as your, go-to? I said, no, that's a very stressful place. But the whole thought process around it is stress, right? But I think if I tie it up with purpose and intent, it completely diffuses that whole concept. So, and it can be looked at, it should be looked at as a very noble profession, because you're really helping someone make those decisions. I mean, would you resonate with that?
100%. That's the real reason why the purpose is so important.
Absolutely.
Why am I doing this?
You're right.
If you're doing this for making money out of it, then you lose the intent of helping the other person achieve what their best is possible for.
But
if your intent is to make sure that the other person is going to be successful because of what you're doing for them, the satisfaction which you get out of giving is far greater than taking.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a adrenaline effect when you see that.
So the
Yeah.
moment you see, that's why when your children become successful, why are you proud?
Yeah.
It's not because they gave you a lot of money.
Yeah. Right. True.
It's because that gives you the satisfaction of, okay, we've been able to help somebody grow,
Yeah.
and that growth is meaningful.
And you're seeing that transform into something beautiful. Yeah, that's I think it's a very, 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 very important statement for us to listen to. That I think the connection you made with children is brilliant. I would use it when I'm having a conversation with my clients. Coming to your humble beginnings. I mean, I've seen your journey. I've read your journey, and you always talk about your humble beginning when you started off 40 years back. Was there a time? I'm sure there was a time, but I would love to hear how did you actually deal with it. Before even you sell your idea to your client or to the investor, did you have to? How did you sell it to yourself? Again, I know it goes back to purpose, but beyond that.
When I started, it was necessity.
Okay, I like that frankness. We all start like that, right? Yeah.
I think it's that necessity which makes you to. I think I've been fortunate and lucky. I was positioned in that place where nothing else mattered. You had to go out into the market
World.
to make sure that you earn your living. Otherwise,
Right.
you didn't have a meal on your plate.
Okay. Okay.
And that makes you understand life in a much better perspective.
Right.
So for me, it was at a very young age, I had seen a quote which said, "Efforts never fail."
Okay. Okay.
And my grandfather always used to tell me that whatever happens, Sanjay, is for the good. These two put together for me was a combination which helped me live my experiences. So, it's like efforts never fail is like logic sometimes tells you, okay, stop.
Yeah.
It's not going to go further.
Work. Yeah.
But it's that belief system which will tell you, okay, why don't I give it one more try?
The instinct, the gut, you're saying? Yeah.
It's that belief system.
The belief, yeah.
Because hard work cannot fail.
Yeah.
So, and everything is for the good. So you've failed this time, but let's give it one more attempt. And that could be transformative.
Yeah, true. True.
That one more attempt is what makes the difference.
Yeah.
So probably you've been rejected 100 times. And your logic will tell you, Sanjay, why are you doing this? You're already thrown out. So no point. But that 101st attempt could be the transformative attempt which could change things around for the person whom you're going to and for yourself. Because if you made a difference in somebody else's life, I believe that's going to change your life also.
Yeah, true. I think that's a very important aspect. When we say that we are helping people to make those, differences in their life, it is impacting your life as well because, 100%. You're part of that journey. But I liked one point you mentioned. You said efforts don't fail, right?
Efforts never fail.
Never fail. And that's a very interesting statement. But what I used to always hear in my corporate world, we used to have these Monday reviews. And when your numbers are not showing up, the leader used to say that efforts doesn't matter, results matter, which is from a transactional perspective, from an organization perspective, it makes those statements, I don't know whether it makes sense, but that's the way organizations have been driving salespeople and numbers. But then when you're putting in that effort, I mean, this just came up to my mind as you brought this up. When you're putting those efforts, I don't want to use the word fail, but it didn't succeed, whatever you put those efforts, and you're trying the next time. Is it the best way to probably look for some guidance and then try, or you tried the same way and timing actually shifted and made that transformation? What did you see as that change? If the 101 is a transformation, is it because you shifted gears, or is it because the time was right for that same effort?
I think failure is what teaches you.
Okay.
So if you've failed 100 times, you must have learned
something.
100 new aspects of approaching the same problem.
Okay.
So that new approach to the same, looking at the same problem in a different light and seeing how else can I add more value.
Okay.
You failed in the 100 times because your customer did not see value in what you proposed. If he saw value in what you proposed, then you would have been successful in that deal.
Correct. Yeah.
Because he did not see value, and you thought there was value.
Right.
That did not happen.
Yeah.
So that learning is what is more important. So understanding and learning from those failures. For me, failures are opportunities. So each time you fail, there is a learning out of that.
Correct.
If you don't introspect and learn from that, then that's a disappointment. Because then you're losing out on what life is teaching you.
Right.
So that makes a huge difference. So how well can we actually prepare better for the next attempt is what makes the difference.
So being resilient could be one of the ways to look at it?
100%.
So please
being resilient is one aspect of it. Breaking down the problem into smaller aspects is another.
I think that's important, yeah.
Don't look at the big problem as it is. Do the small things right. I think that makes a huge difference.
So would that be one of the messages we would like to give to the salespeople? Because resilience is one area where many do have, many don't have, because the moment you hit a roadblock, how do you keep that motivation? That's a very important aspect, right? That motivation of, yes, I am wanting to try again. Is this something to do with an individual, or it also has an impact from the organization?
I think that's where purpose comes in.
Okay, again, your purpose, you're right.
Because purpose gives you that requirement of being motivated.
Okay.
So, because it's not what is in it for me which is mattering, it's how much of a difference are you making?
Right.
How much are you uplifting the other person's life?
Right.
And when you uplift somebody else's life because of what you are providing as a solution or a sale to them, that motivates you.
Yeah.
That keeps you going. Because it gives you that additional adrenaline to say, okay, he is going to benefit because of this. And if you don't understand that, then you lose out on the deal actually.
So during that process, I was just listening to you about, when it comes, so I feel that a lot is revolving around purpose, right? And that becomes even more important aspect for not only salespeople, but for individuals. But so I have a purpose which I'm driving, but I come and meet a very skeptical client. How do I break through that aspect? So I come and meet Sanjay probably and have that conversation. My purpose is to really help you have that intent, but I have on the other side a very, very skeptical, very pushback client. How do I, in that moment, keep myself, purpose driven? Is it practical, or do you think it's still again a matter of being at it?
That skeptical client gives you a lot of input.
Okay.
That's why I said listening is very important.
Okay.
So as long as you're listening to that skeptical client and understanding the real problem which he or she is having.
Right.
Once you understand that problem, and then the solution which you are offering becomes for him transformational. It's no longer a transaction.
Correct, yeah.
He or she will move away from the transactional requirement because he sees that bandwidth of you having the genuinity to understand what he wants to actually solve. So if he or she does not see you in that light, that's when the skepticism comes in. Then, hey, what is he going to provide me which is not known to me?
Right.
But when you listen carefully and understand the unspoken words, there is some aspects which he also probably is not
aware of. Yeah.
It's like initially in my career I used to sell software.
Okay.
So when you go looking for a software sale, the customer does not know actually what he or she wants.
Yeah.
Many a times you start with a software and then the customer says, okay, I want this, because as you start giving them solutions, they are thinking more and more to understand what else can they look for. But did they initially know what they wanted? The answer is no.
Correct.
If they knew exactly what they wanted, the problem would have so much easier to solve.
Yeah, solve.
So it's asking the right questions, getting to the crux of the real problem.
Right.
And that will help skepticism go away, because, and if you do that consistently, without, and deliver consistently,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
that process is where trust gets built. And when once you build that trust and relationship, be empathetic, then the sale becomes more of a relationship rather than a transaction.
So, to that point, is selling relationship based or value based?
How do you build relationships? I think only when you provide
Value. Okay.
do
Okay.
you build relationship.
Okay. Okay. So it's intertwined.
Yes.
Right?
So without building value, I don't think a relationship happens. I have to invest.
Time to help, to understand from their point of view what is the value they would like to take.
So if I don't invest and I keep withdrawing,
Okay. Yeah.
then a relationship does not happen. Then
does
I'm
not
on
happen.
overdraft mode.
I like that. I like that.
So I would rather have a positive balance rather than a negative balance in my relationship, because then I'm contributing towards that relationship.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there is value in that.
True, true.
If I don't contribute that value in that, then the other person has actually more to gain than me.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And I think I want to relate it back to your gardening passion you have. We were just talking about that. So as you keep investing in nurturing that plant and, the soil, this is typically how it is when you're dealing with your clients, right? Do you see that resonance within that? Like,
Laws of nature
Yeah.
are unbelievable.
Yes,
As long
teaches
as you
us.
believe in laws of nature, the kind of learning which you get from the laws of nature are plenty. When you do gardening,
Yeah.
you need to weed.
Right. Yeah, remove all the unwanted. Yeah.
So, do we remove the unwanted thoughts within us?
Yeah.
The answer is we need to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't weed our own system, okay,
True.
and throw out those unwanted thoughts and requirements,
Yeah.
then you're not progressing. You have to focus on the core.
Right.
The plant has to have that energy to grow. So you remove all the rest of the weeds around it.
Right.
Same thing as what is your core? You
Yeah.
stay with that core and remove all the rest of the weeds around it, unwanted things around it.
Yeah.
Then the focus is back.
Yeah.
So gardening teaches you a lot.
Correct.
It's not only gardening. I think every life teaches you a lot.
True. True.
It's
True.
like if I was telling somebody the lobster story. I don't know whether
Okay.
you've heard
No,
of
I
that.
would love to hear that.
So lobsters live for about 100 years.
Yeah. Yeah. That I heard about. Yeah.
Okay. And lobster grows. Does the shell grow?
Doesn't it?
It does not.
Really?
The shell
that's
does
interesting.
not grow.
Okay. So it grows within the shell?
So once the lobster starts to grow, it becomes uncomfortable because the body is growing, but the shell is not growing.
Right.
Okay. So then what happens then? The lobster has to shed its shell to actually grow further.
Grow further.
So what it does is that it goes to some place in the ocean where there is rocks and things like that, where it has to go and shed its shell
Wow.
and wait for the new shell to grow.
Okay.
And that time, the lobster is completely vulnerable.
Right. Exposed.
It's exposed.
Yeah.
Okay. I think human life is also the same.
Amazing. Wow.
When you need to shed certain belief systems, certain unwanted, and look for change, you need to go through being vulnerable and understand what that pain area is all about. And that's when growth happens.
Correct. Yeah. That discomfort is where growth happens. And the patience to stay there and let that, let that change take over. Give
it that time to understand that, live life through that.
Right.
There is a period of time which you go through, because what is present is not the end of life.
Right, yeah.
What is in store for you could be far more greater than what is you're going through today.
Yeah.
So wait for that.
Yeah.
So, but then don't be in a hurry.
True. Yeah.
Success is not an event.
I like that. Success is not an event. That's a very, very interesting point, because it's a continuous process. It's not just one goal you're hitting, right? It's multiple. That's a brilliant point. So I'm loving this conversation. So there's a lot of new things which is coming in my mind now, and I love the lobster story. But so when people go through that, that discomfort, and does discipline becomes a very important part in that process? Because all of this is interlinked, right? Because I can't be resilient, and I can't be keeping myself at the core and driving a purpose when something is not covered with that kind of discipline in life. And I know you're an extremely time disciplined, you have a certain way of doing things, and that talks about your journey. Do you think discipline sits on the top of all of that?
Two aspects for me are the most important. I think discipline and consistency.
Consistency. Okay.
Okay, so as long as you are disciplined and consistent, anything is achievable. Because you start focusing on the most important aspect of what needs to be done.
Right.
And do that consistently, day in and day out. That is the discipline aspect of it.
Okay. Right.
So once you do those small things, I think the big goals are automatically achieved. You don't have to aim for the big goals because it's in the implementation.
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
it's not about thinking about it. It's not about thinking how to be disciplined, but you're putting that into action.
I can have the best possible strategy.
Yeah.
But if it is not implemented properly,
Yeah.
even the best strategy will fail.
Yeah, absolutely. And I that takes me to a very important question which I had in my mind while I was driving. I was thinking about it, that when execution meets the courage, we say that the courage to do things really comes in play when your execution, when the flight is taken off, right? How do you keep your team? I mean, you've grown an empire as such, you've built it from scratch. During that whole process, when you're consistently executing new verticals and new concepts, how do you keep people empowered and let go? Because you built it. How do you let go and keep them empowered and make sure that they have the courage to execute? I mean, is there a formula? Is there a process you followed? And then
I agree with you. It's difficult to let go of control when you've built something.
Exactly.
But question mark is, are you looking at building leaders? Or you want to be in charge always? So this understanding is very important.
Right.
If you want to build leaders and leave, let's say, the world in a place where it's better off even without you, then it's not of what you're doing. It's letting go of that control of what you have built completely and let others go through that journey.
Right.
So the first thing what is important in this situation is to make sure that your people are given an environment where they can boldly go and make those mistakes.
Okay. That takes courage.
Yeah. If you don't allow them to make mistakes,
Yeah.
then they're not learning. I learned from my mistakes. If I did not go through those mistakes, this learning would not have happened.
Yeah.
And if I don't allow my children or my team to go and make those mistakes, then decision making becomes a big issue.
Yeah.
And the ability to make decisions today is what decides your future.
Yeah.
So if you don't learn the process of decision making, given the factors which are available, postponing a decision is no good because your life is finite.
Yeah.
That's not going to get postponed.
Correct.
But postponing decisions then postpones
Everything.
everything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
So I think you need to understand that postponing a decision is not really worth it.
Yeah.
Take those decisions with the available, whatever factors you have. You're never going to have all the aspects positive in your table.
Yeah, true.
There will be plus and minus. If you have more pluses, take the decision and move on.
Correct.
If you fail, you learn from it. If it's a success, then there is more to do beyond that.
Yeah. So during this whole process, which is, the courage to let go, what is that which came into your mind? Was it instinctive, or you were guided by the mentors and the coaches that, hey, take a chance, Is it mostly instinctive? Because
I
we're all
think
emotional
people were
beings.
the most important aspect for me
Okay.
in my entire journey.
Okay.
I think focusing on building that relationship and people has what brought me to what I am today.
Okay.
And I think even today I value people as the most important asset in my balance sheet. It's not what I've achieved in terms of the profit or the assets which has been built. So when you want to build people, the aspect is how do we grow and transform people?
Yeah.
Okay, so that aspect needs to be understood. So you should allow them to take those decisions.
Yeah.
You should, and that's my purpose, help me to do that, because if you give the people the purpose and make them understand why you're doing what you're doing, they're motivated towards that decision.
Correct.
And you give them that encouragement to, it's okay to make a mistake. Okay, sometimes it costs you money. But that one transaction of loss today is acceptable because you're building a lifetime more of relationships.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you have two choices. I win this order today and lose a relationship. Or I win the relationship today.
And lose a small order, that's fine. Yeah.
And over a period of time, there's a lot more which can be
In-game.
achieved out of that relationship.
Right.
So as long as you do the same with your people, I think with the children also it's the same. If you don't allow your child to make mistakes,
How do they learn? Yeah.
okay, and when you're not there,
True.
they're going to struggle.
Yeah.
So it's lot more easier to allow children to make mistakes when you are with them,
Yeah.
rather than make them having to go through that when we are not there.
Yeah. And a calculative risk, like they say, right? What's your appetite of risk? That is something you define as well. So when you're right?
You don't have to gamble.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
You
Yeah,
don't
this
have to
appetite of risk looks like
you
a
don't
stock
have to
trading, but then
gamble. You can stay with 1 foot on the ground and 1 foot on the air.
okay.
So, as long as you are not stranded
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
moving,
Keep moving.
and then that's what matters. You
So
don't have to leap from a cliff to see
true.
what risk is all about.
True,
That's
true,
not
true.
required.
Yeah, it's like letting, giving one
Take the
step,
small steps.
and they're also watching. And I think very important point you brought up is the people whom you're actually bringing into the ecosystem, that the selection process or that, and I remember at some point in time when we were having a conversation, you said, I would like to bring people for their attitude and not for their skills, because skills can be developed. I would love to know a little more about how do you go about, what are the attitudes you look at when you look at sales leaders, sales professionals, when you bring them on board? What kind of attitudes?
I think the most important is authenticity.
Okay.
Because you need to be authentic in terms of the offering which we are looking at, and the integrity portion of it,
Okay.
and the empathy portion of it.
Okay.
So once you understand the customer, that's where what empathy is all about, to put yourself in that person's shoe and find out what that pain area is. And you consistently deliver a solution which is making a difference to them.
Yeah.
So consistency again comes in there, because you do a right solution and then fail in the next, and it's the effort behind it. Okay, sometimes there are times when you take a risk and it fails.
Yeah.
Not every risk is a success.
True.
Risk is reward, so you need to go through that. But so long as the customer sees that you are genuine and authentic in what you are trying to deliver, that authenticity makes a difference.
Right. Yeah. And they are seeing it. Yeah. I mean, it's something, the vibe or the energy you can actually relate to, right? So while you select salespeople within Centena, I mean, there are thousands of people working in your organization, right? So when you bring them on board, the process of bringing them on board would be more on seeing how they are actually coming across in their conversation. Of course, from a background perspective, where have they worked, all that becomes very technical. But if they come in front of you, there are 3 things probably you're watching. That could be transparency, and how integral they are in their conversation. And you can catch if they are actually, catch their words. Is that how you actually look at it? Or do you use tools to identify whether they are?
Tools are there, but for me what is important is what is their upbringing? How have they built relationships?
Value systems.
What is their relationships?
Right.
So you go deeper into understanding what, in fact, learning have they gone through in their life in terms of relationship building.
Right.
Okay. If you understand that, then it is easier for you to relate.
Okay. And to gauge.
Yeah, because have they gone through failures? Have their parents allowed them to fail?
Right.
If they have not gone through failure,
Right.
then the first disappointment is going to create a huge kind of an impact on them.
Yeah, yeah. They can't handle rejection. Yeah.
So understanding their upbringing in terms of how their journey has been and what are the difficulties and failures they have gone through. So if you understand that, then you have a fair idea as to how he or she reacted in that situation. What are the positives they gained out of that? What did they learn out of that? So if that process is structured well enough in their minds, then they would handle any other situation.
Right. Yeah. 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 And you're not different in your personal life and your professional life. You are what you are.
You are what
right.
you
You will not be completely different in front of a client or within your home. So I guess that element is such an important, the DNA of that sales.
Rejection happens not only in sales.
Yeah, right.
Rejection happens in many places
Yeah,
in your
of
life.
course, of course.
How did you handle the rejection when it first happened?
Yeah.
Did anybody allow you to go through a rejection process?
Yeah.
There are some children who are never allowed to do that.
Right. Yeah, of course. They're very much controlled, protected. You feel sorry for them.
So then it's difficult.
Yeah.
If you're in that kind of an environment, they're going to learn that in the real world.
Yes.
Okay?
And that can be tough.
That's going to cost them a lot more hurt.
You're right. And maybe they take it in a very different way because they're not conditioned for it. Because we are what we are conditioned in our life.
Hence, there's a lot of therapies which happen today.
Right. Yeah. And it's increasing worldwide. That's true. That's true. So I have two more questions, which is I'm so intrigued to ask. But before I ask the second question, I want to understand that leaders, as I'm listening to you, you always have been seeing beyond now, seeing tomorrow before it even happened, because obviously your purpose is so strong, so centered, and you're actually working towards the greater good, right? And you've moved that journey, you crossed that journey far, far before. You as leaders think in decades, but salespeople, again, I'm coming back to salespeople, they think very short term because they're quarter to quarter to quarter, because probably they think as employees rather than, not many are purpose driven, and that's where the transformation we're trying to do with a lot of organizations, that how do you really find your purpose? Why is it important to have your purpose? How do you try to balance those individuals? Because you have so many people, right? It's a mix of two. So you have leaders who are thinking in decades. We have salespeople thinking, if I don't do these numbers this month or next quarter, I'm going to have. How do you create that balance within the organization?
I think it's again how the culture works in the organization.
Okay.
What are you actually looking at in terms of? I think short term actually matters more than the long term.
Okay, I like that.
In the process of sales, are you doing the small things right?
Okay.
You don't jump into getting the order straight away.
Right.
Have you ticked all the small activities you're supposed to do in the sales cycle? If you don't do those activities, then the bigger deal does not happen.
True.
It's breaking that sales cycle into smaller activities, understanding and listening to the customer continuously, and finding where, what, how things are changing.
Right.
Because you're not in a world where there's no competition.
True.
So you have competition. So if I listen to the customer today, and if I listen to the customer tomorrow, there is something which has changed.
Yeah.
Probably your competitor has entered.
Yeah. Or time has changed.
And there's a lot more information with the customer than what you have probably.
And that's the reality of today. Your customers are more informed than you.
Correct.
Right.
So and you have to understand what the customer has got that additional information and what are they looking for.
Right.
And when that understanding sinks in you, you would act differently.
True.
So it's those small acts which you do on a short-term basis which is going to actually lead you towards trust building. If you look at sales as a transaction,
then
you fail.
True.
If you look at sales as transformational, you win.
So I would like to put it this way as well, that if you look at sales as transaction, then you're looking at short term. If you're looking at transformational, then you're looking in decades. You're looking more futuristic.
What transforms? You are
Yeah.
actually transforming the customer's pain point into a positive requirement for the customer.
True.
You are not looking at me getting the order.
Right.
You are looking at how can I make a difference to my customer in solving and making them more efficient than what they are today.
True.
If they are buying something from you today, it's because they want to improve their efficiency.
True.
They want to change a pain area into a kind of a situation where it makes it a little more easier for them to function in a lot more easier manner.
Yeah.
If that efficiency is actually taken care of, then their lives are getting transformed.
Yeah. True.
And as a sales guy, if you look at it from a transformational point of view rather than a transactional point of view, you are far more authentic, you're far more trusted, the relationship becomes a lot more deeper.
Yeah.
And then the customer enjoys that journey with you.
True.
It's no longer otherwise you are looking at it as a time. When you look at it from a transaction, there is always the customer's mind. Is he going to cheat me?
Yeah. Because there's already a preconceived also when you go to the customer that these guys come to sell me. Yeah.
Change that perspective. I'm not here for the sale. I'm here to make a difference.
True. I love that. I'm not here for a sale. Be a doctor, not a chemist. Nothing against both, but then the approach for both is different. Okay. Yeah. So I love that point, and I also wanted to understand from your point of view. Without AI conversation, no discussion is complete in today's world. Where do you see the AI and the HI moving? There's one part of our worlds which is pulling us towards that, and you got to adapt. We can't be thinking that, this is not the right or this is the right, whatever that is. But where do you see a more of a gap, or do you think this is getting merged, the human intelligence and the artificial intelligence?
There's always technology available. It's going on improving.
Right.
But the human aspect cannot change.
Okay. That's the only thing constant?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
you need to stop talking to the screens.
Right. Talk to real people.
And talk to the real people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That aspect of what technology will help you in terms of saving time. Invest that time which you save using technology into empathy.
Okay. Empathy becomes the core. Yeah.
Because that's when that cannot be taken away by any kind of AI.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
For us, let's say in a shipping, we are one of the lines of businesses, maritime.
Yeah.
Automation can help navigation.
Right.
But the captain still has to understand how the sea is in terms of the weather conditions.
Correct. Yeah.
And he has to take a call based on how technology and what he can do in terms of use of this technology to ensure that he steers the ship in the right manner.
Perfect. Yeah.
So the technology is there, but will technology help him with everything? Aspect is no.
Yeah.
So he needs to understand the ocean.
True.
So better he understands it, and that's a difference between a good captain and a
and the
not
ship which
as
can drown.
experienced captain, because that makes the difference. An experienced captain will be able to weather all kinds of weathers and move on with the available technology.
Correct. So use technology to your benefit, because that is transformational, that is evolving. But as a human,
because it gives you a lot more time.
Yeah.
What I used to do in Excel sheets in terms of storing information, today CRM does.
Exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
So, but that gives you a lot more time.
Right.
What are you using
with that time? That's important.
That's what is important.
Correct.
So the available time needs to be invested in terms of what machines cannot do.
Correct.
And what we as humans are good at.
That means that building more connections, building more trust, building more relationship, which again goes back to the core of everything, right? And removing those weeds.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. So I know the time is up, but I would love to have this conversation with you furthermore. But if you have to leave 3 very critical statements or advice from your experience to the sales community, what could that be?
I think I've already said that.
Yes, yeah. Purpose.
Don't look at sales as a transaction.
Yeah.
Look at it as a transformational journey which you are making an impact in your customer's life.
Right.
and invest in that relationship more than in the sale.
Right. So relationship building, be more transformational, more empathetic.
Yes.
I think that's
and be a good listener.
be a good listener. That's
Listen with intent.
yeah. I think that's the most important aspect. Listen with intent. That's where relationship builds and trust builds.
Don't start thinking of the answer before the question is actually put to you.
I love that.
If you start doing that, then you're not listening.
You're lost.
You're missing out so much.
Yeah, you're disconnected,
Yeah,
and that's where frustration happens. Rejection comes in, and then
in an argumentative situation, that's what you do.
True.
You are actually thinking of what my counter is, even before the question is coming to you.
up. Yeah.
So in that process, you miss out so much of what unspoken words, which is there in that emotion.
Correct, and then it's a downward spiral, and it's a lose-lose situation. In fact, for the client and for us as well. So Sanjay, thank you so much. It's been amazing having a conversation. What I take away personally is the purpose and the intent. I've always struggled to, figure out what could be my purpose. There are multiple purposes is what I feel. But I think I need to probably zero it down to what is the core purpose. I think that's my takeaway from the conversation. And we will keep having, more conversations as we move forward. Thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. And I'm sure the audience would take a lot of nuggets from this discussion. And my urge to the audience is, please share the topics which you like to hear, and we would love to bring more thought leaders into these fire chat conversations. And the purpose of Sales Igniter is to bring such thought leaders, share their experiences from what we can learn and apply in our customer world, not only into the customer world, but also in our personal lives. Thank you so much.